Today's topic is statutory employees, a hybrid classification the exam loves to test because it blends rules for employees and independent contractors. A statutory employee gets a Form W-2, but here's the critical twist. They report all their income and expenses on Schedule C, just like a self-employed individual. The single most important clue on the exam will be a fact pattern describing a worker who receives a W-2 with box 13 for statutory employee checked. If you see that box checked, your mind must immediately go to Schedule C. The exam requires you to know the 4 specific and only 4 categories of workers who can be statutory employees. To remember them, use the mnemonic DISH. D is for agent drivers or commission drivers who distribute food, beverages, laundry, or dry cleaning. I is for full-time life insurance salespersons, working primarily for one company. S is for traveling or city salespersons who work full-time for one company, soliciting orders from wholesalers, retailers, or contractors. And H is for home workers who work with materials or goods supplied by the employer that must be returned to the employer. Let's look at an exam-style trap. A question describes a salesperson who works for one company, spends 90% of their time on the road taking orders for tools from hardware stores, and receives a W-2. The W-2 shows $60,000 in Box 1, has Social Security and Medicare taxes withheld, but shows 0 for federal income tax withheld in Box 2. Most importantly, Box 13 is checked. The question asks how this income is reported. The trap is seeing a W-2 and thinking the income goes on Form 1040 as wages. The correct answer is that the entire $60,000 is reported on Schedule C as gross receipts. This is because this person fits the S in our DISH mnemonic, a traveling salesperson. Another key testing point is the withholding rules. The employer is required to withhold FICA taxes, meaning Social Security and Medicare. However, the employer is not required to withhold federal income tax. This is why Box 2 on the W-2 is often 0. This unique combination is a favorite for multiple-choice questions designed to confuse you. They might ask which of the following is true for a statutory employee, and the correct option will be FICA taxes are withheld, but federal income tax is not. For a worker to qualify under one of the 4 DISH categories, specific conditions must be met. For example, for the traveling salesperson, substantially all of the services must be performed personally by them. They must have no substantial investment in the equipment used, and they must perform the work on a continuing basis for the same payer. The exam can test these subtle conditions. For instance, if a traveling salesperson invests heavily in their own showroom, they would fail the no substantial investment test and would be classified as an independent contractor, not a statutory employee. The ultimate takeaway for the exam is to connect the dots. A W-2 with Box 13 checked means the income is business income. It goes on Schedule C. This allows the taxpayer to deduct ordinary and necessary business expenses, such as car mileage, supplies, or a home office, directly against that income, which is a significant advantage over being a common law employee. Always check Box 13.